Across the galaxy, Earth was a running gag, a meme, a cautionary tale about what happened when a species got too bold without the tech to back it up. They had nukes, sure, some decent rock music, a few decent soldiers. But in the eyes of the galactic warlords, who ruled the rim with fire and chrome, Earth was a dead planet with a pulse, still clinging to its old pride while the rest of the stars laughed. Then someone sniped High Warlord Drexus's personal champion, through a portal, from Earth, from 12 kilometers away, through wind, through ion interference, across a battlefield being bombarded with orbital artillery. One shot. Drexus's champion had been wearing a 5-layer refractive combat shell, with a quantum cloak. The kind of armor that could take a hit from a neutron bomb and shrug it off. The bullet? It entered just beneath the chin guard, exploded mid-spine, and vaporized the brainstem. Instant kill. The assassin? No one knew. Just a name tagged on the bullet like a sick joke. From Earth? With love, TR. The warlords didn't laugh anymore. Within 12 hours, Drexus placed the largest bounty the board had ever seen, 90 million galactic credits, 3 slave worlds, and a custom dreadnought for whoever brought him the head of TR. Make it scream, Drexus said to the bounty board moderator. Or don't bring it back at all. Thousands of bounty hunters answered. From the acid jungles of Vral to the methane clouds of Coral Prime, the galaxy's most savage killers turned their eyes toward the dusty blue speck on the edge of the civilized systems. They thought they were hunting a relic. What they got was Talon Ray. He wasn't hiding in a bunker or military facility. He wasn't protected by Earth's pathetic space corps or living deep underground. Talon Ray was living in the shattered husk of a decommissioned orbital cannon, floating in mid-decay just outside the planet's exosphere. No armor, no team, no reinforcements. Just a long-range antimatter rail rifle, a tool belt of custom mods, and an attitude sharper than his cheekbones. He had silver-white hair that was always half windblown, mismatched boots, and a jacket too long for someone his size. His body was wiry, stripped of fat and mercy, carved by years of guerrilla survival, long nights, and precision kill habits. The kind of frame you underestimated, until he dropped your squad from 8 clicks out. Talon sat cross-legged on a half-broken solar panel, overlooking the vast curve of Earth below. His rifle was cradled in his lap like a lover. The lens flickered with planetary overlays, kill zones, orbital velocity lines, incoming heat signatures. And sure enough, one popped. 3 bounty ships, heading fast. First batch, he murmured, sipping a cold can of something vaguely citrus-flavored and definitely radioactive. His AI drone, stitched into his collarbone, buzzed in. Confirmed. Grit-class vessels, not stealth. One appears to be broadcasting trap bait. Cute, Talon muttered. He reached into his side pouch, pulled out a bullet, and held it to the light. It shimmered with a custom nanofilament pattern, one designed to pierce kinetic shields and leave behind a calling card. Etched along the side in glittering microtext. Twink's last warning. He chuckled, loaded the round, and stretched his legs out like he was about to sunbathe. Below, the 3 ships entered low orbit, weapons hot. Talon didn't move. The first bounty hunter, a 7-foot reptilian with an acid flail, beamed down to the surface. He was loud, confident, boasting in 6 languages. Where is the Earthling? Where is this sniper? He roared. From orbit, Talon whispered to himself. Right here. He fired once. The bullet passed through atmospheric drag, wind resistance, and the reptile's forehead, exiting out the lower spine. The creature collapsed mid-roar. The body didn't even twitch. The second ship scrambled, activating countermeasures. Drones swarmed, hunting for the firing position. Talon leaned back against the cracked satellite dish, bored. Can I help you boys? He said, speaking directly into their frequency. You're scanning the wrong hemisphere. He pulled out a second round. This one glowed red. A tracking bullet with split sabot fins. He aimed, waited, then fired. The shot tore through the primary drone ship's intake vents, detonating the internal power coil. The explosion ripped through 2 more drones and ignited the fuel line of Ship 2. Ship 2 blinked out of the sky like a dying star. Jesus Christ, Talon, the AI muttered in his ear. You really do hate company. He smirked. They are just being nosy. I don't like uninvited guests. Ship 3 tried to escape, activating quantum displacement. Talon did something stupid. He jumped. Using a compressed rail tether, he launched himself off the panel, caught a gravity eddy, and rode the curve of Earth's orbit, aiming directly toward Ship 3. Mid-flight, he fired 3 times, while spinning. All 3 shots hit. The ship exploded behind him, as Talon used the blast to propel himself toward a rescue beacon he'd planted last week. He landed hard, coughed blood, and laughed. Earth still got it, he muttered. Hours later, in a bunker deep beneath the Arctic Circle, Warlord Proxys screamed into their comms. He's alone. He's unarmored. He destroyed 3 ships with 1 rifle. Their fate echoed through galactic frequencies. This wasn't a fluke. This was a problem. Back in his cannon husk, Talon cleaned his rifle with delicate care. He stripped off his jacket, showing old burn scars, ink tally marks, and a back lined with bullet grazes and war tattoos. Across his shoulder blades, inked in ghost ink that shimmered in darkness, were the words, "You wanted a war. You got a one-man extinction event." His eyes glowed dim in the fading starlight. He wasn't hiding. He wasn't running. He was waiting. And the galaxy had no idea what was coming next. The bounty board updated every hour. A red-tinted holofeed streamed footage from across the galaxy, kill cams, mission logs, failed assassination attempts. Viewers watched like it was sport. Some even bet on who'd be the one to end the ghost sniper from Earth. But the numbers told a different story. Kill count, 19. Bounty claimed, 0. Survivors, 0. The vids that made it out weren't edited. They didn't need to be. Each one was a cinematic, horrifying work of death art. Flashes of a slender figure balancing on antenna towers, mid-air snipes, mirrored reflections used for impossible angles, and that signature calling card every time. A bullet etched with Twink's last warning. Talon Ray was no longer just a target. He was a movement. The second wave was meant to be elite. 9 assassins from the Gore Eclipse cartel, trained in triple gravity and blood warfare, armed with bioadaptive camo and soul breakers, knives that shattered willpower on contact. They didn't even make it past the exosphere. Talon had set orbital mines in a perfect spiral across their predicted descent path. When the first one exploded, it triggered a sequence. 4 went up in flames, screaming. 1 got spaced instantly. 2 made it down. 1 lost both legs. The other, a cybermonk with no skin and 12 eyes, made the mistake of crawling toward a distress beacon. Talon watched from 800 meters, chewing on jerky, legs dangling from a communications tower. The monk looked up just in time to see the glint of light from Talon's rifle, and hear him say through a wideband channel, "Buddy, you in my sandbox now." The bullet traveled through the monk's mouth, shattered his internal spine cage, and ricocheted twice through his backup organs. Talon blew the smoke off the barrel even though railguns didn't produce smoke. Style mattered. Every time they sent better killers, Talon upped the game. Not just to win, to humiliate them. He customized bullets to deliver pre-death messages. One hunter received a tracking dot that played a pre-recorded voice message as it pierced his lung. "This is for Drexus. Your assassin sucks." Another, a clawed lizard named Vrak, found himself trapped in a jungle net woven from Talon's old sniper raps. As he struggled, a holo played above him, Talon dancing shirtless to 21st century synth pop, flipping him the bird. Vrak screamed, "Show yourself." Talon's bullet came from underwater, launched through a submerged cannon he'd modified just for the kill. Straight through the jaw. Out the crown. Clean. That was the thing. He wasn't just winning. He was performing. And the galaxy noticed. #TalonRay started trending across the pirated dark feeds of Outlaw Space. Memes popped up. Fan edits. Hot twink sniper from hell shirts were printed in the black markets of Zorik City. But for Talon, it wasn't about fame. It was about the message. UF **** ed with Earth. Now you bleed for it. Word spread to higher circles. Bounty guild elites. Warlord aristocracy. Even Drexus's own cousin, Kale, took notice. Kale was young, pretty, poisonous. A war-born noble who wore she-black silks over vibro armor and wielded mind blades instead of guns. Half demon, half augmented peacock. He wanted Talon not just dead, but publicly ruined. So he sent a transmission. You're not special, Talon. You're just loud. Let's see if you're as good up close. He dropped coordinates to his private ship lounge in orbit over Mars. A deliberate trap. No exit routes. No cover. Just Kale, alone, waiting. Talon took it. Of course he did. Kale expected a brute. A shadowy killer. Maybe some ex-military junker in rust armor. What he got was Talon Ray stepping onto his polished deck like he owned it, bare-armed, rail rifle slung loose over one shoulder, chewing on a matchstick like it was a cigarette. His boots clicked sharp against the glass floor. His grin? Weaponized. Kale sipped alien wine, seated on a throne of breathing crystal. Yo, smaller than I expected. Talon smirked. You're wearing more eyeliner than I expected. Kale stood. Let's see if you're still cocky when I carve out your spine. Sure, Talon said. But first. He closed the gap in a flash, too fast, and kissed Kale on the mouth. Kale froze. Time paused. Then Talon whispered against his lips, hope that's not your first kiss. And pulled the trigger on a needle rail hidden in his glove. It blasted straight through Kale's gut, out his back, and into the throne behind him. Kale gasped, touched his bleeding stomach. You kissed me. Talon leaned in again. Yeah. And I still don't like your eyeliner. Then he kicked Kale through the airlock. No helmet. No suit. Just a gasp and silence. Kale's death broke the warlord's patience. His body floated in low Mars orbit for a week, and Talon made sure the camera drones got full coverage. The warlords tried to censor it. They failed. Worse, Talon made much. First kiss, last breath, Kale X Talon skull kiss mark. It sold out on 6 moons. But not all hunts ended quick. One bounty team, the Dagger Choir, came close. 7 silent killers. No voices. Just blades and rhythm. They dropped in during a solar storm, tracked Talon's hideout, and surrounded him at dawn. They moved like ghosts. Efficient. Coordinated. For the first time, Talon took a hit across the ribs. A shallow cut. But it drew blood. Real blood. They didn't kill him. They excited him. He grinned through the pain and whispered, finally. Then all hell broke loose. The fight raged across the orbital graveyard. Talon used debris fields as cover, magnetic mines as boosters, and an entire broken escape pod as a sled. He rode it down toward the choir, sniping mid-fall, switching to dual wrist pistols, moving like poetry with a death wish. The last 2 members tried to retreat. He didn't let them. One he took out with a trick round that looped mid-air like a boomerang. The last? He stabbed with their own blade, whispering, You moved in sync. I move in chaos. That day, he marked his body with 7 new tally scars, 1 for each choir member. The galaxy took notice. His file was no longer a target. It had been upgraded to Anomaly. His nickname on the boards changed from Ghost Sniper to the Pretty Reaper. And Talon? He was just getting started. It started with a whisper in the black market clubs of Venus Station. There's another sniper. Talon didn't care at first. He'd heard it all before. Copycats. Wannabes. Half-assed mercs who thought eyeliner and a long-range rifle made them legends. Most of them ended up dead before they made it out of orbit. But then the kills started stacking. Fast. Precise. Clean. Bodies posed like art. Bullets through the eyes. Through the mouth. Through the heart. But only after they saw it coming. Every death was delivered with a kind of finesse that felt personal. And every scene left behind one thing. A red rose. Dipped in blood. Still warm. The killer signed them all the same way. RYK. Talon sat in the shadow of a derelict cargo freighter above Europa, sipping on something that tasted like battery acid and watching the kill footage. A Zenthian juggernaut, 10 feet tall, skin like armor, reduced to a twitching mess by a single, curved bullet. Entry point, center of the neck. Exit, lower spine. 1 shot. The camera panned to the window. And there he was. RYK. Sharp jawline. Tousled black hair with a blood-red streak. Pale skin like starlight. He wore a high-collar combat coat, no shirt, and a belt full of throwing knives. But it was the eyes that caught Talon. Cold. Calculated. Almost bored. Like none of this was impressive anymore. A message came through on Talon's secure channel. No ID. No trace. Let's see who can break the other first. Coordinates attached. RYK. Talon didn't even blink. He finished his drink, flicked the glass into space, and whispered, "I was getting bored anyway." The coordinates pointed to a space station long abandoned, drifting in the asteroid belt like a forgotten god. No lights. No signal. Just silence and shadows. Talon docked in total quiet. No weapons drawn. No armor. Just his sidearm, a single bullet in the chamber, and a knife hidden in his boot. He didn't expect to fight. Not yet. This was RYK. If he'd wanted to kill, he'd have taken it already. No, this was something else. This was a challenge. The interior of the station was elegant ruin, old velvet lounges, shattered glass, and flickering neon signs that read Pleasure Deck Alpha. It had once been a brothel for high-end warlords. Now, it was a mausoleum. And RYK stood in the middle of it, lit by the glow of a broken chandelier, holding a glass of dark wine. He looked like a painting of sin and danger, lean, graceful, absurdly calm. "Wasn't sure you'd come," RYK said. Talon stepped out from the shadows, arms loose at his sides. "Wasn't sure you were real." RYK's smile was small, sharp. "I'm real. And I've been watching your work. Clean shots. Messy style. You like theatrics." Talon tilted his head. "And you like blood roses and camera angles." "Gotta have a signature," RYK replied. "Keeps the myth alive." They circled each other slowly, like predators feeling out a mirror. Neither flinched. Neither blinked. "Why now?" Talon asked. RYK shrugged. "Because the galaxy's too loud. Too messy. They keep sending brutes, machines, idiots. But you're beautiful." Talon's eyes narrowed. RYK continued, "Not your face, though. Let's not pretend it doesn't help. I mean your kills. Every bullet you fire has meaning. It's romantic." "You think murder's romantic?" Talon asked. RYK stepped closer. "With the right person, absolutely." They were chest to chest now. Talon could feel RYK's breath, smell the metallic tang of dried blood and cologne. A hand reached out, slow, deliberate. RYK touched Talon's face, a single finger tracing a fading scar down his jaw. "I could kill you right now," he whispered. Talon's lips parted. "So why haven't you?" "Because I want to know," RYK breathed. "What would it feel like to earn a kill that means something?" Then it snapped. Fast. RYK went for the throat, a blade in hand. Talon twisted, elbowed him in the ribs, and the fight exploded. They clashed like dancers trained in chaos, fluid, savage, silent. Blades flashed, fists flew, boots struck steel. Talon caught RYK's arm and slammed him into a wall. RYK rolled, swept Talon's legs, and they crashed into a shattered table. Talon rolled with the fall, grabbed a wine bottle, smashed it, and jammed the jagged neck toward RYK's side. RYK caught it, barehanded. Blood poured down his palm, but he didn't flinch. "You're good," he hissed. "You're bleeding," Talon replied. "Not the first time," RYK whispered. Their faces were inches apart again, breathless, sweating, smirking. They froze there, blood mixing on the floor. And then, RYK kissed him. It wasn't gentle. It wasn't tender. It was a war. Teeth clashing. Hands gripping. Desperation masked as lust. Rage masked as attraction. They weren't making out. They were battling for dominance without a single bullet fired. And then, just as quickly, it ended. Talon shoved him off. Both men stood, gasping, shaking, smiling. "You gonna kill me now?" RYK asked, voice low, pulse visible in his neck. Talon licked the blood off his knuckles. "Not yet." They circled again, slower now. Both had knives. Both bleeding. Then, RYK tossed his blade to the floor. "A challenge. A day. Make it count," he said. Talon stared at him. Looked down at the knife. "Back up." He raised the gun. The barrel met RYK's heart. "I don't want to kill you," Talon said quietly. "But you have to," RYK replied. "Why?" RYK leaned in, voice a breath in his ear. "Because if you don't, I'll kill you." Talon pulled the trigger. One clean shot. Straight through the heart. RYK jerked once, then smiled as he fell. Talon caught him before he hit the ground. Laid him down slow. Held him. RYK coughed blood. His hand gripped Talon's wrist, strong even as life drained away. "You were worth it," he whispered. "You were real." And then he died. No scream. No fear. Just peace. Talon sat there for a long time, eyes fixed on the ceiling. The broken chandelier above cast fractured rainbows across his face. He didn't speak. Didn't cry. Just waited. Then he reached into RYK's coat and pulled out a small case. Inside, a single bullet, etched in red. "If he kills me, he earned it." Talon pocketed it. He stood, wiped the blood from his lips, and walked out into the dark. The galaxy updated the bounty board. RYK, confirmed deceased. Killer, TR. Method, point blank. Personal. The vid leaked anyway. Viewers across the stars watched Talon hold the body of the only rival he'd ever respected. They watched the kiss, the fight, the kill. And for the first time, they didn't cheer. They mourned. But Talon didn't stop. Because there were still more hunters. Still more warlords. And now, he had something else to prove. That nobody would get close again. The grave halo wasn't on any map. A rotating graveyard of derelict ships fused together by war, time, and silence. Hundreds of rusted hulls drifting in a cursed spiral around a dead moon. For years it was a forbidden zone. No signals in. No signals out. But someone lit it up. A beacon pulsed once across the warnet, red and simple. Talon Ray. Come dance. No coordinates. Just the frequency. He found it anyway. They were waiting. The Shatter Crew, a kill squad forged in Drexus's private black labs. 7 ex-soldiers, all resurrected through trauma-spliced reanimation tech. Technically alive. Technically dead. Each one had survived death once. None of them would survive it twice. They had names like code. Brick, heavy armor, missile spine. LYX, shadow form distortionist. 6, twin-wielding speedster. Dr. Ivory, combat surgeon with scissor limbs. Mute, no voice, just blades. Halo, sniper killer, anti-Talon specialist. And Crow, the commander. Half machine. No heart. Full rage. They'd trained for months. Studied Talon's footage. Built counters. Created simulations. They thought they were ready. They were so wrong. Talon entered the grave halo in silence. He wore a red scarf now, RYK's. A souvenir. A warning. He glided through the oxygen-dead corridors like a myth come to kill gods. No gravity. No backup. Just him, his rifle, 2 sidearms, 3 knives, and a thirst for blood. The first body showed up at hour 2. LYX. A distortion field shimmered near an old escape hatch. The shimmer laughed. Found you. Talon didn't speak. He snapped a light orb, tossed it, and fired mid-spin. The bullet curved, bent through LYX's cloaking like it knew his shape. Impacted clean through his eye. The shimmer stopped laughing. An hour later, Dr. Ivory tried to ambush him during a recharge pause. Floating scalpel limbs, stitched up face, bone saws purring. "Let me see how you tick, sweetheart," Ivory hissed. Talon fired a round into an old pipe above, spraying liquefied coolant across the hallway. Ivory slipped. Talon stabbed upward, booted him into a reactor shaft, and dropped a magnetic grenade after him. The blast lit the halo in blue flame. Talon floated away, lips tight. No one-said style had to be subtle. Mute and 6 came together, a whirling vortex of razors and speed. Mute dashed with blades out. 6 flanked from behind. Coordinated. Lethal. Precise. Talon dropped his guns. Let them come. He waited, then kicked off a wall, spun between them, and used Mute's momentum to slam her into 6, knife straight through 6's jaw. Mute tried to scream. Couldn't. Talon took the moment to whisper. Should have brought voices. He crushed her throat with one hand and twisted her into a 0G death spiral. That's when Halo made her move. She'd been watching. Learning. The sniper sent to kill the sniper. Her perch was in a detached observatory dome, 600 meters from Talon's last location. 0G windless. A perfect sniper's dream. She pulled the trigger. Talon had already moved. The bullet missed by 2 inches, cutting hair. Talon snapped his own rifle into place, floating free in a corridor with broken glass all around. His voice came through her channel. That was cute. He launched a mirror shot into orbit, timed the shot through its reflection, and ricocheted the round off 3 polish panels he'd pre-placed hours ago. The bullet curved. Then it split mid-air, 2 smaller slugs diverging like wings. One pierced Halo's shoulder. The second shattered her scope. Her final words? How? Talon's reply? Don't play my game unless you're ready to lose pretty. Now only Brick and Crow were left. Brick found Talon in the engine core of an old warcruiser, fists like tanks, slamming through steel walls. Nowhere to run, he bellowed. Talon nodded. Cool. Then hit the gravity disruptor. Suddenly, everything fell. Hard. The warcruiser engine room turned into a vertical death trap. Brick, too heavy, fell like a meteor. Talon used debris as a staircase, bouncing upward, defying every law of physics in war. Brick roared and threw a missile. Talon grabbed it mid-flight, twisted, and redirected it into Brick's chest. Boom. Chunks of armor hit the ceiling. Then the floor. Then silence. Now it was just Crow, the commander, built to withstand black holes. Burned alive once, shot 36 times in another life, then rebuilt without skin. He didn't flinch. Didn't speak. He just hunted. Talon found him in the shattered control core of the Halo. Glass everywhere, no walls, just open space around them. 0G ballet floor. Crow raised his arms. Electroblades ignited. No more hiding. Talon holstered everything. No guns. No knives. Just gloves. You want to dance, he said, floating toward him. Then let's dance. They moved like rivals locked in ancient choreography. Crow struck first, spinning through broken hulls, blades slicing in arcs. Talon ducked, spun, wrapped his legs around Crow's torso, twisted him mid-air, and kicked off a panel to reset his drift. Crow came again, blades everywhere. Talon bled. But he smiled. He bent physics with movement, used his own blood as distraction, flung droplets into Crow's optics, then shattered the glass dome above them with a whistle-echo grenade. Starlight flooded in. The stars became their battlefield. Final strike. Crow grabbed Talon by the throat. Talon grinned, blood in his teeth. Check your heart monitor. Crow glanced down. His heart. Gone. Talon had removed it mid-fight. Crow didn't even fall. He just stopped. Talon drifted in silence. Body aching. Suit torn. Blood slick on his jaw. He looked at the stars. And whispered. Still breathing. He floated out of the grave Halo like a god of ruin. Behind him, the station collapsed, imploding under silent chain reactions he'd set at the start. He didn't look back. Never did. The bounty board didn't update this time. No footage. No witness. Just a message. The Shatter Crew, lost in action. Last known location, Grave Halo. Retrieval, abandoned. And one note scribbled onto a leaked ship log. You sent killers. I sent a message. TR. The legend grew. They started calling him the Death Dancer. An angel of execution. Not just the galaxy's best sniper, but its most unpredictable, poetic storm. He wasn't hunting anymore. He was performing. And every star system whispered the same thing. If you see the scarf, you're already dead. They called it the Eclipse War Moon. A weaponized planet built around a hollowed sun core, cloaked in black armor, orbiting nothing, because nothing survived near it. Drexus's fortress. His throne. The last bastion of empire. And Talon Ray was heading straight into its burning heart. No backup. No allies. No tricks this time. Just him, and the man who built this whole blood opera from the shadows. The memories came harder now. Flashes of the Earth camp where Drexus first tested his sniper soldiers. The cold labs. The slicing needles. The brain chips. The endless repetitions of kill simulations until Talon's soul peeled off in layers. Drexus hadn't made him a soldier. He made him a weapon. Then he tried to discard him like one. But Talon didn't die. He evolved. Now he was coming home, not as a tool, but as a storm. Eclipse Warmoon's defense grid opened fire before he hit the outer layer. Talon didn't dodge. He veered straight through it, ripping between ion cannons and missile trails in a sleek, silent stealth pod rigged with solar reflective tech and scatter mines. Half the grid lit up like a funeral pyre as he zipped past, ejecting mid-flight into the outer breach. The breach crew saw him for exactly 4.2 seconds. Then they were gone. Just pieces, drifting. Talon moved like a phantom through the hull, a twink in a blood-soaked scarf, black armor dusted in stardust, eyes dead with purpose. The war moon was its own biome. Gravity at max to test endurance. Gravity at zero in places to confuse aim. Narrow kill corridors, razor vents, auto-turrets, anti-jammers, and mechanical drones that moved like spiders. Talon took them all. Not with bullets. With calculated vengeance. One drone he turned into a live bomb and launched it through the barracks corridor. One squad he tricked into a decompression chamber, then shot the release valve while waving goodbye. One auto-turret? He hacked it mid-dive, turned it around, and let it chew through its own programmers. He wasn't just killing. He was rewriting the war moon's entire purpose. It was no longer a fortress. It was a tomb. Then he reached the throne deck. A cathedral of steel and shadow. Black stained glass windows overlooking dying suns. Pillars made of war trophies, rifles, helmets, bones. And on the throne, Drexus, taller than a man, clad in obsidian muscle plating, face partially metal, but the human parts still smiled with ancient cruelty. His voice hit like a church bell in hell. "You finally came," he said. "The prodigal weapon returns." Talon didn't blink. "I'm not yours anymore." Drexus stood. "No. You're mine in every shot you fire. Every corpse in your wake sings my name. Then I'll erase your name from the stars." "Oh, my boy," Drexus purred. "I am the stars." The throne chamber sealed. Talon was trapped. Drexus lunged. They clashed. It wasn't graceful. It wasn't elegant. It was violence made personal. A father and son in blood, fury, and betrayal. Drexus swung a molten greatsword, an ancient weapon powered by neutron decay. Talon ducked, rolled, shot out a pillar, and collapsed part of the chamber on him. But Drexus rose from the rubble, laughing. "You still think speed beats power?" Talon threw two knives. Drexus caught them mid-air. Still predictable. Then Talon smirked. "Am I?" He detonated the knife hilts. Drexus staggered, blinded, just for a second. It was enough. Talon fired 3 shots, knee, shoulder, neck. Drexus dropped to one knee, blood and oil pouring. But he laughed. "You forgot. I made you. I know your limits." Talon stepped closer. "Then you should have remembered," he whispered, jamming RYK's bullet into Drexus's exposed throat. "The one etched with 'if he kills me, he earned it.'" It didn't fire. It didn't need to. It was symbolic. It burned. Drexus howled, smoke pouring from the wound. Talon pulled his final gun, a handcrafted relic of Earth. A single round chambered. A family crest etched on the side. "I'm not your weapon," he said. "I'm your consequence." Then he fired. The bullet didn't just kill Drexus. It triggered the chain Talon had wired through the war moon. Timed charges, cascading reactors, collapsing cores. Everything Drexus built, his empire, his tech, his legend, burned. Talon escaped through the collapsing debris, leaping into an outer chamber where gravity spun wildly. He hit the launch bay, commandeered a dying cruiser, and vanished into space as the Eclipse war moon folded into itself. A black hole, brief and violent, consumed the wreckage. Drexus was gone. Forever. The galaxy didn't know what to believe. Some said Talon was dead. Some said he'd become the Eclipse itself. Some said he retired on a moon made of roses and broken mirrors. But the kill feed on the darknets updated with one final transmission. Drexus, status, terminated. Killer, TR. Method, final shot. And below it, a simple message. Weapons don't dream. But I do now. Talon Ray disappeared. But his legend didn't. Children whispered his name on colony worlds. Merc squads wore red scarves in tribute. Snipers studied his footage like sacred scripture. And deep in space, in abandoned kill stations and shadow zones, A twink with starlight eyes still watches. Waiting. Not for revenge. Not for blood. Just for a worthy shot.